welcome to Olde Scot, the Gaelic Learners Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff McDonald. I'm here to bring you a little language, a little music, a little history, and a whole lot of fun. So sit back and we'll get started. That was Capercaillie and Feuchamaich Beagan from the Crosswinds album. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but that's a really good album. And Capercaillie has been around in Scottish music for a long time. So if you haven't heard them, look them up. You'll like them. Kimraha Hula Dunya. Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. That means in English, how is everybody? And welcome to Let's Try a Little Gaelic. And I'm not trying to give you fluent use of the Gaelic language. I speak Scottish Gaelic, or a little bit of Scottish Gaelic, and it's a very hard language to learn. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of phrases, word usage that you can infuse in your daily life for fun, to, get a little bit of your heritage into your life, let your kids know that they have something deeper in their ancestry and their heritage that's calling to them. So I guess the thing to start off with first would be to, how do you greet somebody? And basically the first thing you say is Kimmer Hashif. And you use the word shiv at the end, S-I-V-H. That's a formal use. If you use that for somebody you don't know or somebody of importance, you want to respect, you would say Kimmer Hashif. And if it's just like a buddy, family member, your kids, some informal, you would say Kimmer Ha'u. So that's how you say, how are you? Now the natural reply to that is, almost everybody, even when they're feeling bad, will say, I'm good. And that's Hami Gama. Hami Gama. Now if you're actually one of the honest ones and want to say exactly how you feel, Hami Gadona. I'm feeling bad. Or Hami Chin, I'm sick. Hami Ski, I'm tired. There's a whole array of words out there, descriptions. Please, grammar Nazis, please do not come after me. I am horrible in grammar and all that, so which I think was one of the big things that held me back in learning more Gaelic. I mean, I actually learned quite a bit. I even, back in 2005, won a contest, a national contest, and won a trip to a immersion weekend up in Ohio at some fancy resort, which was really cool. I got to learn a lot there too. But almost every city has some kind of small group that meets and gets together and just works on their Gaelic. And if not, there's plenty of things online to do. A lot of the best that I think comes out of the Gaelic world is from a woman named Muriel Fisher, and she works out of the Tucson, Arizona Gaelic Institute, and she's awesome. She's a native speaker from the Isle of Skye, and she teaches you not so much the grammatically perfect way to speak Gaelic. She teaches you more how people speak it, which I think is the best way, because when you get over there and you try to speak a little Gaelic to somebody, you're going to hear it a bunch of different ways, and it may be all the same verbiage, but it's everybody's got their own dialect, their own different accents, their own tempo of the way they speak. Some speak fast, some speak slow. So you gotta be prepared when you go over there and you try to speak Gaelic to somebody. Actually, and over there, you say Gaelic. Oh, yeah, let me explain that to you. Gaelic is definitely the word to use. Some people will give you a good tongue lashing if you say it the other way. And the other way is basically what they say in Ireland. Another good source of Gaelic learning material is picking up children's books, because that's how kids learn. There's plenty of places online where you can purchase these things at. But let's get back to the language. We learned Kimmer Hashiv or Kimmer Ha'u, how are you? We learned how to reply, Hagama, or Hamidona, Hamichin, Hamiski. But then you always want to reply. So you would say Kimmer Ha'u Hain, how are you yourself? Or Kimra Hashif Hain, how are you yourself? And it just carries on the conversation. They reply to you, and then you get to the meat of the conversation or the discussion. And we'll leave that to a later date. So, for right now, that's just a kind of small introduction to the Gaelic language. Just a small greeting. Kimra ha'u, Kimra ha'shiv, ha'gama, Kimra ha'shiv hain. Alright. Thank you for being here today for Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, Try a Little Gaelic. And I kind of stole that title from a similar podcast from God years ago. Her name was Eileen Mackenzie, and there was a little Scott radio program. It was awesome, and she did pretty much the same thing I'm trying to do. Give you a little bit of language, a little bit of music, a little bit of history, just kind of entertain you in the Scottish Celtic kind of way. So, head on back to the music.
By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny breeze, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love will ever want to gaze. On the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Oh, he'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland of on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted in yon shady glen, on the steep, steep side of an home. But in that park of you, the Highland hills we view, and the moon coming over glow. Oh, he'll take the high road, and I'll take the low road. I'll be in Scotland of for me and my true love will never meet again. On the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond.
All right, that was Steve McDonald from the Sons of Summerlet album. It's a great album. Real powerful Celtic music, drums and pipes and everything. It's awesome. It's kind of weird. Steve McDonald is actually naming my older brother. So it's, every time I hear that album, for some reason I think of him. Even though he's not really musical. None of us McDonald boys were very musical at all. But that's an awesome album. You should look it up, get it. Okay. We are going to take a little Celtic history break. Now, there's tons of history all over the internet. But one aspect of Celtic history, Scottish history, is the Scottish Highland Games. And I have a very personal attachment to the Highland Games. I competed in them for roughly 6-7 years. I wasn't the greatest of competitors, but I held my own. And there are professional Scottish athletes out there. They are the highest level of athletes. Usually these guys are also involved in like strongman competitions and things like that, and they win prize money and they get sponsors. And but I competed in the amateur class. The amateur athletes, they range in all different types of classes, A, B, and C, based on your level of ability. So a lot of games you may be divided up, and a lot of games you may just be lumped in together, and which honestly I liked it better being lumped in together, because it made me work harder to throw farther, to throw better. So at some games, well, let me start back. Some games there's even women's divisions, there's masters divisions for older men, and I've never seen a women's masters, but I'm sure it's out there. But they throw lighter weights. The weights, man, they can be heavy. You got a 56-pound weight for distance, 56-pound weight for height, 28-pound weight for distance. You got the stone, which can vary from 20 to 28 pounds. You get the sheaf toss, which is using a pitchfork to throw a bag of twine over a bar for height. That's about 20 pounds. And then you got the hammers. You got a heavy hammer, light hammer. The heavy is 22 pounds. The light 16 pounds. The women's, I think, is 12. Then, of course, you got the caber toss. And the caber's what pretty much everybody visualizes when they see the Scottish Highland Games, is guys throwing a big log. But it isn't just pure strength. There's a lot of technique into it, and that, to tell you the truth, honestly, that would aggravate me more than anything when some scrawny little guy would walk up and turn a caber that I was struggling with. So, but if you're listening to this, and I would encourage you to look around your local area to see if you have a Scottish Highland Game, and go out and check it out. It's really a lot of fun. You don't have to compete, you can just watch. But I competed in the games as just a way to have a reason to stay at the festival all day long. See, I loved the music and the food and the entertainment and the bagpipes. I loved it all. Go to a Scottish festival and you'll see what I'm talking about. Besides, it was a way for me to connect to my heritage while involving my family in an activity outside of TV and video games, where everybody wants to try to get their kids away from social media and video games and things like that. So it's a great way to get them out and get them away from all that. I made a lot of friends at the festivals too, the Highland Games, and they were a big part of my daughter Shannon's upbringing. they taught her, they cared for her, they made her a part of a much bigger family. There was a guy named John Burleson who always did like storytelling, Celtic stories and things like that, and he would let her sit there and he would just tell her story after story after story. Even when he's not actually doing it for anybody else, he would just tell her story after story, and she just loved it. And then a lady named Juncle Jones, she would teach her Gaelic, and friends Perry and Jennifer, who also competed in the games, they would play with her and keep her busy during the games. And there were plenty of other people who do the same thing for me, but I've maybe forgotten their names over time. But the last time I competed was 2004, I believe, yeah. But the Highland Games are a good part of your heritage, and it was a great part of my life. Even after my surgery, when I could not compete anymore, I had surgery on my wrists, I still went to the festivals. There's so much more I fell in love with, and that's when I started learning the Scottish Gaelic, and that's another story. And just getting into the music and the history and the clans, and it seems like every time I go out to a festival, there's always something new. It's actually something old that they brought out that's something new that you just didn't realize you've been overlooking all this time. But it's so much fun, and I would encourage you to go see it. And that's the end of the Celtic History Break.
As I went a-walking one morning in May, to view yon fair valleys and mountains so gay, I was thinking on those flowers, all doomed to decay, that bloom around ye bonny, bonny Slieve Gallion Braes. How oft in the morning, with my dog and my gun, I roamed through the valleys for joy and for fun. But now those days are over, and I must go away. So farewell unto ye, bonny, bonny Slieve Gallion Braes. How oft of an evening, and the sun in west, I roved hand in hand with the one I loved best. But the hopes of youth are vanished, and now I'm far away. So farewell unto ye, bonny, bonny Slieve Gallion Braes. It was not the want of employment at home that caused us poor exiles in sorrow to roam, But those tyrannizing landlords, they would not let us stay. So farewell unto ye, bonny, bonny Sheaf Galleon Grey.
Alright, that was Sleeve Galleon Bray, Irish tune. Figured the Scots have already had 2 songs in this podcast. The Irish needed to get a little in there. Alright. Man, I'm loving this Irish music. I love a good Irish song. Our next little segment is going to be called Everyday Celtic Ways. And it's just a way to infuse the culture into your life. Alright, it's time for Everyday Celtic Ways. And this is a little segment just to show you how to infuse a little bit of the Celtic, Gaelic, Irish, or Scottish culture into your daily life. And it can range anything from food recipes to folklore to superstition. It could be anything, poems, whatever. And today we're going to talk about superstitions. Now, I don't know about you, but my mother was super superstitious. And, you know, being Scottish and Irish blood, a lot of the Irish superstitions came out in her, you know, like not opening up an umbrella indoors and stirring your tea or coffee counterclockwise is unlucky. If you take the last piece of bread or cake off a plate, you're going to be an old maid or a bachelor. Let me see. Remember. Oh yeah, picture falling from the wall foretells of a death. Oh, that's spooky. If a knife falls, it's a sign of a gentleman visitor. If you let a fork fall, you will receive a lady visitor. Now, that is kind of strange. But this is the one I like. It says, if you sweep out the dust on a Monday morning, you're sweeping out all the good luck for the entire week. Now that's a good excuse not to clean the house. And that's it for Everyday Celtic Ways. I'd like to thank you for listening today to the Olde Scot Gaelic Learners Podcast. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you enjoyed the music and learning a little bit. And I would appreciate your comments. Send me an email to Lord of the Ales. That's exactly what it sounds like. Lord, L-O-R-D, of the Ales, A-L-E-S, at AOL.com. And let me know what you think. If you'd like other different things added to the show, just give me a holler. Let me know what you think. All right. Y'all have a good day, and slán lot. That means goodbye.